All right, here with the MVP of the Crown tournament, Jawan Gary. How much fun were you having hooping in Vegas over the last week?
I had a lot of fun. First time in Vegas, but it was more than just being out in Vegas. It was just playing with the team for one last time. This special group of guys, like a lot of people had a lot of expectations for us to have a better season than we had last year, but it didn't happen that year. This year for sure, not making it to March Madness was a big thing for me, but just having the opportunity to go out there and play with this team again. Like, it was fun to see guys actually overcome a lot of adversity, like Kale, Aaron, Andrew. A lot of guys that didn't play this season for sure stepped up a lot. Like I tell everybody to this day, Kale is my MVP. So Kale want this. If Kale want the ball, Kale, you can have it for sure. Like, no doubt about it. But just being out in Vegas for a week really show like who we capable of. Like, now we got momentum going to next year. Like, I can't wait to see the group of guys coming here next year and be impactful about this Crown championship we just won, and just want to be better. Like, for sure, just want to go out next season and trying to make that March Madness tournament and trying to make that run, because we capable of doing it. But how hard do we want it for sure?
When we talked to Bryce before you guys went out there, got a sense that this team really wanted to go do something special out there. What kind of mission did this group go on to maybe bring home another trophy?
Shoot, cut them nets down, man. I know it's not the biggest thing out there. It's the first time Crown basketball tournament has been, event and stuff like that. And to be able to say we the first ever to win that championship, that's always going to be rememberable for a lot of things for sure. Like, down the line, next year is going to be the exact same tournament. We're going to be the first person to ever come up like Nebraska Huskers won this tournament for the first time. So it means a lot, just to go out there, not having a huge fan base, but shout out to all the Husker Nation who came out there and showed mass support. I feel like I was in PBA again in Vegas for the amount of people that was out there cheering for us. But just going out there just to play basketball. Like, we didn't want to sit down the whole month of March just to watch, NCAA basketball. Like, nah, I wanted to play basketball. You know how boring it is to sit home as a basketball player and not hoop? Like, no, that wasn't it. So I'm still shocked to this day. I'm still shocked we won. So sorry for my mix-up words, but the only thing I wanted to do, I just want to do it for Fred. I wanted to see Fred. So, like, Fred smiling was my highlight of the whole Vegas trip. Like, him cutting down that nets, him seeing the smile. Like, to me, this is my national championship for sure. And I'm very proud of the guys. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of just the whole Husker Nation for sure.
Your highlight wasn't putting Seamus in the crown with the crown on top of his head?
Shout out to Seamus. Seamus, you the real king for sure. Nah, man, Seamus, man, that's my guy for sure.
I gotta agree. Okay, well, just this, having the opportunity to play in the Crown, what can you say about just the tournament, the NIL opportunities that came along with it, the way that they put it on? It just seemed like it was really well done, and all the teams were having a lot of fun playing in that tournament. To have that kind of opportunity, how special was that?
That for the first time, it was. I want to give a shout out to the Crown Invitational people. Like, they did a wonderful job just to putting that tournament together. Like, it was well ran, like very fun. Like you said, every team that was there had a great time just to be out there in Vegas. But the NIL thing, like, everybody keep asking, like, was that the main focus? I said no. I'm like, of course, it's like a cherry on the top. But in the day, we just want to go play basketball. We just want to win a championship. Like, winning a championship means a lot. I'm pretty sure, not to me, but to a lot of the players for sure. So. But this thing, how the NIL things, like, NIL is taking over college basketball, and it's a beneficial thing because now people can take care of their family at a young age. Like, I'm 24-year-old, and I'm legit could take care of my mom, my sister, my dad, stuff like that now. So playing tournaments like this, of course, it's not the biggest thing in the world as of right now, but what more can you ask for but a championship, a check at the end, and yourself, your MVP for sure. So yeah. It was a great tournament. And if I was in college again, I'd go back for sure. I would definitely go back.
What kind of goal did you have for yourself? I mean, you did so many things like we've seen you do, but how did you want to leave, I guess, your last few games in a Husker uniform? What kind of goals did you have playing out there in this tournament?
As anyone knows, my last game in Nebraska, I was very emotional. Fouling out, losing at the exact same time. So I wanted to flip the script. I wanted to actually, like, be happy my last game. Like, I'm still shocked that I even won the MVP. I thought, Bryce being a stellar player all year, if you ever seen the video, I was just looking at him, I don't think he's going to win for sure. So, but, win that MVP, but just win that trophy, just everything I've just been blessed for. I pray every day to where I'm just going to let everything happen the way it's supposed to be happening, stuff like that. But my goal was just go out there and win. I didn't want to go home, first of all, being in Vegas for the first time, did not want to go home the first day at all. So that was the goal for me. And I just wanted to give guys confidence into next year. You know, why not give momentum to next year to where coach could look at like, maybe just won a championship. What's the point of turning it back now? So definitely proud of myself, but I can't do anything out without this team at all. Can't do anything.
There was this really special moment between you and Bryce after the game. What were the emotions? What were you feeling in that moment when you just shared that long embrace with him, with everything I know you guys have been through together here in Nebraska?
Only thing I said was thank you. Like that's the person that I could call legit my brother. Like, you know, being from North Carolina, South Carolina, like we kind of the same type of person. Like we got the same type of tendency and stuff like that. And the only thing I could have asked for was a teammate, you know, who's a stellar basketball player. Like Bryce is probably one of the talented players that came through this program for sure, but definitely one of the best players I ever had, you know, played with for sure. But that's the only thing I just said was thank you. Like I couldn't do anything this year without Bryce, you know, without the brotherly love, like the tough love. Like it used to be times Bryce yelling at me when I got 2 fouls in the first half. He yelling at me. I'm like, I got you. So it's like it's no point in me even reacting because I know where he coming from for sure. But you know, I'm glad me and Bryce decided to come back. You know, we knew we had a lot left on the table, but we knew we had to leave this legacy with a smile on our face for sure.
Just got a couple more for you, but you know, your game, how much it grew, we really saw it. I mean, I feel like if people doubted what Coach Hoiberg can do on the offensive side of the ball, you're proof of that. You came in just a defender, a rebounder, but now you're a scorer too. You know, how would you describe that and what he was able to do to help you maximize your potential on the offensive end?
Just the confidence. Like if anyone ever, you know, never watched Fred Hoiberg coach, he's one of the most laid back, most truthful, most respectful, most loved coach I ever played with, I think, in the country. Like his coaching boosts up your confidence. Like there's nothing more to it. As you can see last year or the year before that, K-State, like even though we knew K-State was the most dynamic shooter ever that came through college basketball, it was the confidence that Fred gave him. Like we knew K-State could score, but if Fred got confidence in you, he gonna let you play basketball, and that's what Fred gave to me. Like I knew I was a defensive stopper. I knew I was a hard player in the day, but I also knew I could score the basketball. So when that confidence kicked in, and that's another reason why I say I think Bryce, because Bryce gave him that confidence too this year. Like, you know, we knew he had to score for sure throughout the year, but he couldn't score 60 points by himself. We knew he couldn't do that for sure. So he always just looked at me as another step up for sure. But it was just within the game. I wasn't trying to do anything special. Like I know I'm not the best shooter. I know I'm not the best, all-time scorer out there. But in the day, I could put the basketball in the hoop. So just the confidence thing, and that's all I'm be grateful for Fred for sure. Just give me that confidence to actually put the basketball in the hoop.
So they're doing some work in the portal. You're a guy. You're an example, a story of a guy that came here and really thrived after getting into the transfer portal. What's your message to guys considering Nebraska and maybe transferring here?
Don't be scared to take a risk, man. Don't be scared to take a risk at all. That was one of my biggest fears when I first came in here. Was I'm 20 hours away from home. Like I'm so used to being in the South. I'm so used to going home on a regular basis, but you gotta go somewhere where there's no distraction. You gotta go somewhere where you gotta be uncomfortable to get comfortable, and that's what I did. My first year in Nebraska was not the most joyful thing. Like it was kind of difficult to, figure out how should I move, how should I go about things. But once I settled down, actually looked around, okay, they really love me for who I am. That's where I started feeling home. And my last year and being here for 3 years, I couldn't ask for a better journey at all in Nebraska at all.
All right, last thing, just what's your message to Husker Nation? How thankful are you for the support you've gotten to be able to wear the Husker uniform the last 3 years?
First, I want to say I love Husker Nation. I couldn't ask for a better fan base, a better support system. Y'all bring energy every game, and y'all got a dear spot in my heart. And go be ready.
I love it. Thank you for your time. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Well, Coach, I know you've had a lot of successful teams in the postseason, but I got to imagine this group is up there with amongst the most proud that you've been of a group.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how we ended the season and, the guys that went out there, the way that they did it. And the first thing was how they stayed together as a team going into the postseason. Not a lot of teams can say that. Even NCAA tournament teams lost players to the portal, over the course of the tournament while it was still going on. So for our guys to stick together, I thought was a great sign. It speaks to the character of this group. I think it speaks a little bit to the culture that's in place, and it paid off. The guys went out there, and everybody that was on that floor made a positive impact on the team. And Cale Jacobson took full advantage of opportunity. Braxton Mia, I thought, gave us some really good minutes out there. Andrew Morgan, Aaron Eulis, Guys that were kind of in and out and up and down with their minutes. And that's what it's all about. And you have to have everybody if you want to end up on top of a tournament format like we just played in.
I know teams are different and years are different, but this experience, the guys that had this experience, can it be a positive thing moving forward for this program?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I look at is the exposure that we had. And when you look at the numbers from Fox, I mean, there was a lot of viewership in this tournament. And, certainly when we're out there doing Zoom calls, which we did a lot of when we weren't on the practice court during a film session, a lot of times we were on a Zoom call with a potential recruit or a transfer to come in and help us out next year. And we talked a lot about what was going on, and they all watched it. And we played really good basketball on both ends of the floor, and I do think that helped get a couple of our guys over the top.
And apparently you guys are one of the top teams on social media, even with the Final Four teams over the weekend. So it seemed like a lot of people were invested and cared about what Nebraska was doing out there in Vegas.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And, when believe me, I had so many messages, as many almost as when we made the NCAA tournament last year. So it is. I mean, when you look at the, Nebraska postseason history, there's a banner for the NIT in PBA. Now, obviously, we have high aspirations and expectations for our program is to win in the NCAA tournament and do that consistently. But this is pretty special. There's not many teams that get to say that they went out with a win.
I know Jawan Gary is a guy that means a lot to you. He just told me his favorite thing about the whole experience was seeing you smile the way you were after that championship. How special was it for you to see him perform the way he did and go out with an MVP?
I just, he's one of my favorites that I've ever had the opportunity to coach. And when I've seen the growth of Jawan from when he got to us 3 years ago to where he is now and being able to go out on top. And, when he got hit in the head, I was a little bit concerned. But when he came back in, he maybe played his best stretch in a Husker uniform those last 15 minutes of the game. And, he's just he's going to go down, I think, as a lot of people's, up there with one of their favorites to wear a Husker uniform. And the thing I love is, he's really embraced it here. And when he says, Nebraska's home for me now, that's pretty special.
All right, you had mentioned Kale. Jawan also mentioned Kale, said he's the real MVP, but how great is that story for someone like him to get that opportunity and make the most of it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's why you work. That's why you put long hours in the gym, and that's what he has done all season. And it came all the way down to the end before he got that consistent opportunity, and I had to have him on the floor. And when you look at that three that he hit against Central Florida and the floater that he made on the lane when Bryce got his fourth foul, those were huge baskets to get that thing up around 10, and then we were able to hold him off. But he just did a little bit of everything for us, and he knows the system, and he knows all 5 spots on the floor. So to take advantage of it, that means a lot. And again, it shows. And I guess our message of stay ready, you never know when your time is going to come. That certainly came true with Kale.
I know we'll have a chance to really dive into all the new additions, but how do you it was a balance between playing in a tournament and getting some guys in the transfer portal, which you said was going to be a big emphasis. How do you like the way that this group is coming together?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the players that have signed with us, starting with Price Sanford. He's a guy that we went after hard. The first go around, he was our number one player on our board when he ended up making the decision to go to Iowa. And when he went into the portal, we jumped on it right away. And, I've had a pretty good history with the Sanford family going all the way back to camps that I ran when I was at Iowa State, where the boys, would come to our rec center in Ames. And, I got to know the parents. The grandfather was a coach at Roosevelt High School, and I was playing in high school. So, I've known them for a long time. So to bring a guy that I think is as good a shooter as anybody in the portal was huge for us, because we've talked a lot about that. We need to be a better shooting team next year. I'm excited about Jamarcus coming back, and certainly a guy that can play multiple positions and played point for us. We're going to need help in our backcourt with that, and he knows everything about the ins and outs, the offense, the defense, the system, what it looks like, the culture. Playing with Rink, was huge for everybody, I think, and we showed Rink a lot when we were going through our Zoom calls. Oogie gives us great depth in our front court, a guy certainly that's going to compete every time he's on the floor. Talked to a lot of people in that league that I trust, and they said there's no doubt about it, he can play at a high level in our league. So just a great pickup, a guy that can shoot it and play, make, and score on the block. And then Will Cooper was a good addition for us as well, local kid from Omaha. Made 7 threes in a game last year at Air Force, and another guy that can really space the court. So, still looking to add a couple more, and hopefully we'll hear on that here in the next few days.
You going to get some sleep now?
I'm going to try. But we got a Zoom call at 10 o'clock tonight. So, you just never know when those times come, and you just got to do the best job you can to sell your program.
Certainly probably helps that you're coming off a championship that you can sell it.
It is, yeah. And, I think you can hear it in my voice. This always happens to me at the end of the year where I get a little under the weather. But, it's been a lot of work. And, again, I'm happy that the season ended the way it did as opposed to stopping after that last game against Iowa. So just proud of the guys.
Last thing, just the way that Husker Nation showed up for you guys. I mean, Jawan said you guys could feel it there, that you had the support there in Vegas.
I promise you they had a huge impact on that win. When we got down 14-0 run, they were so as responsible as anything. I think you could see it on the feed. When we made that, whatever it was, 52-17 run to end that game, or 42-17 run, they were as instrumental as anybody. They were the energy in that building, and it was 95% Husker fans. So, it was fun to share it with them, and they all stuck around for the ceremony after the game. So pretty cool.
Coach, thanks for your time. Congratulations again.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica.